Thank you for joining our May session of Dr. Jaspersoft. My name is Paul, and today I have one guest speaker for you. His name is Domenico, and today we'll be going over unleashing dynamic content, embedding HTML with the HTML Pro component in Jaspersoft Studio.
Hello, hi everyone.
We have a quick disclaimer slide, and then the next Dr. Jaspersoft session is the second Thursday of every month. The next one will be June 12th, 2025, and that one will be about OAuth integration. And so today we'll be going over an HTML Pro component. This component right now, as today, is unreleased, so this will be like a sneak peek. Please feel free to ask any questions, but I do just want to be noted that this component is very limited. Our knowledge on it is very limited. It's not being released yet, and it's supposed to be released later this year, so you'll have access to it yourself. We'll try to answer questions the best that we can, but even our experience with this component is very limited. So if you have a question and we're unable to answer, we apologize for that, but we'll definitely try to answer it the best to our abilities. And then once this component is released, obviously we can go back and answer questions and maybe even do a part two and come back and revisit some questions you had or answer them, either in a support case in the community or however you'd like to engage with us. So today's agenda is introduction to the HTML Pro component. How does it work? The HTML Pro component properties, and then a live demo. Again, feel free to answer questions, and I do just want to note again that this is an unreleased component. It will be released later this year. From this slide, I'll go ahead and hand off to you, Domenico. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I guess you can see my screen now. And yeah, let's start with an introduction about the component. So this new component will allow to embed the HTML content within your Jasper reports, and the content can include tables, layouts, and images directly into your reports. And the content will support both HTML code content from a string or from a URL. So you can just provide a URL and will be able to fetch you the URL, the HTML code from the URL itself. So we were already able to render some basic HTML in a text field, but there were some limitation in this case. Now with this component, we can add support to images, tables, and custom CSS as well. So the component is rendered using an iframe for on-screen viewing. So if you are running your report within your Jasper Studio or your Jasper server, or else it will be rendered using a JPEG image for other kind of outputs like PDF. So the component is working behind the scenes, is taking care of fetching the HTML that is provided again in form of pure code or in form of URL to be fetched, and it produces a content that can potentially split over several pages, but it takes care of modifying the HTML code in order to avoid split of text and between pages. So everything will look more readable this way. And at the moment, there are a few limitations on the components, like it is not yet able to fetch content that requires authentication, request headers, URL parameters, and so on. But in the future, we will have probably also these kind of features. So this is to give you an overview of the component that will be available in your studio palette. There is the component here at the right, and there are a few properties that will allow to set and have the component working the way you want. So there are a few properties. Let's review them. So the first one is the HTML content expression, which is the property that is needed to provide the actual HTML content that again can be also passed in form of URL. There is another property which is a switch to allow the JavaScript code execution. So we have the possibility to also execute some JavaScript in the HTML code. We will see an example in detail after. There is another property, which is the image DPI setting, which allow to set the DPI for an image that you want to render in order to set the resolution. Allowed HTML tags. This is a property that is allowing to specify the list of tags that you want to be rendered from the HTML you provide. So it is useful to, for instance, to forbid any tag that you want to render. And still about the let's say the policy specification, and on the each HTML rendering, there is another setting, which is the custom policy provider, that is allowing to implement this interface, the policy factory provider, in which there is a more granular and detailed way to sanitize your input. Okay, now let's switch to the demo part. So at a glance, I will be presenting a few samples. So the first one is related to fetching HTML content from a database and using it to build a report. The second one will be about using an AI-generated HTML content to build a personalized touristic guide. The third one is about embedding an HTML address book. Uh, the fourth one is about implementing and using the policy factory provider. The fifth one is about the allow JavaScript property. And the latest one is about the image DPI property. So let's go and open the studio, and I'll start drawing a new report right now. So in this case, I have already my Postgres database available and set as data adapter, from which I can fetch a few lines of HTML code from this table. So I just have to write a simple query here. I can see I have a couple of fields to use. Okay, now I can see already a preview of this code that I will use to render my HTML content. So if I click on this button, I can preview the data, and I can see the actual code that will be used to render the component here. Okay, now I'll get rid of all section but summary and page footer. So the goal is to represent a board of directors meeting minute that I have in my database, and yeah, provide it in form of PDF. Why not? So let's use the component here. And here in the content expression, I open the expression editor. I just have to specify the field that I want to use. And also let's add something to make the report more formal. I'll use a text field. display the page number from the pre-existing the built-in variable page number. Yeah, and this other one, let's specify that this is the total number of pages. So I can type off, and since this is the total number of pages, I want the text field to be evaluated at the end of the report execution. So I just have to specify the evaluation type here. Okay. So I guess we are good to preview the report now. Let's do it. And here it is. So this is the preview of the report I just created. It is embedding the HTML content. You can see there is also some styling applied here. As I said, this is a meeting minute from a board of directors of a company. And yeah, my report is ready, and I can also export it to a PDF. And here it is in form of PDF report. Okay, this was the first example. I switch to the second one, unless there are any questions. So in this case, I'm not using any specific data adapter, so I'm leaving the default data adapter here. And again, I'm getting rid of all the section but summary. Okay, let's give it more room. Okay, so in this case, what I want to do is to use this HTML page I created with the help of Gemini AI. So as you can see, this is a small touristic guide about the city of Venice, with some basic touristic information, and with also some link that will be available in case you are running the report in viewing mode, for instance, on Jasper server. So let's use this page, which is in my resource folder here, in my project. So there is this page here, and I'll tell you in a second how I can be able to fetch this page and to render it from the component itself. So this is my component, and here in the expression, I will use the Apache Ant library, which is already added to my project class path here, to read the input stream from the HTML page under my resource class path. There is one expression that I will use in order to do that I already prepared. And this is again to use the file utils from Apache library, from the Apache library, and read the input stream from the page, which is something very common for Java developers, I guess. Okay, now let's say I want to also to give something more to this report, like the possibility to add a custom message for someone that is going to visit Venice. So let's think that we are an hotel and we want to welcome our guests. So I'll add a parameter here. Let's call it just guest. And then I'll add a text field here. And I'll write a welcome message for my guest. So let's just type welcome to uh, I will use the parameter at the beginning of the phrase. So let's do it like this. Okay. And also I want to maybe to add a small logo. So let's imagine this is another logo here. And this time I will use the Jaspersoft logo, which is not actually an author, but we can imagine we are okay. Probably the text needs to be bigger and centered. Okay, I guess we are good to preview the report. Maybe still a bit bigger. Okay. Okay, let's say I have Paul, which is my guest. Okay, I have my customized message and my small touristic guide is ready. And if I choose to visualize it as an HTML, something that will happen also when running the report on Jasper Server, we can see that the links are working fine and opening the related pages. Also, the same report can be used to be exported again to PDF, and maybe being the author, we may want to send the guide to our guest before he is coming to Venice. Okay. This was my second example for the session. Now let's say I want to embed another simple HTML content, and I have another report here. And let's create a new report. Okay, all section but summary again. And here I use the component. And again, I use the same library, the same Apache Ant library to read my address book, which is quite simple. And my address book is ready. Okay, now if there are no any question till now, I'll go and present some already generated samples to give an overview of the properties. So let's review this example here. So in this example, the HTML is embedded in the content expression itself. So we are providing the HTML here. And by using this policy provider interface, we can specify which are the elements that we want to render in our report. So how does it work? So here I have specified my custom policy factory provider, which is a custom class that I can quickly show here, implementing the policy factory provider from the OWASP organization. And in this code, I have specified that I want to disallow the bold element, so the B tag in my HTML. And of course, there are other elements that are allowed, like the font and the color and so on. So to do a quick test, so I'll first run the report with the policy provider here specified, and I will check that the elements are in line with what is specified in that custom factory provider code. So one quick test is to check this word here and see that the bold character is not applied. Now, if I go and just remove the setting here, so in this case, the custom policy is not applied. If I run the report again, I see that the bold is present. So that's how the provider is acting and sanitizing the HTML input the way we specified. Okay.
Hey, real quick,
So
Domenico, we do have a question.
yeah.
Hopefully you can answer it. I'm curious if I can use a Jaspersoft variable inside my HTML code. For example, if I have a v name, could I add that into the HTML like it's kind of hard to put into words, but I guess p name or something, or maybe I'd have to use a factory provider somehow.
So meaning if we can pass the variable to our factory provider, that's the question.
Yeah, that was the second part. Maybe I'd have to use that in the factory provider somehow.
Yeah, of course, I guess that this custom factory provider, um, we can implement some additional method to get also some variable in input. So I think that we can extend that this factory provider to make it works like we do normally with scriptlets as well.
Okay, we do have another question. I think I might be able to answer this one. In which Studio Pro release will the HTML Pro component be available and when? It will be available later this year. It will be available in our next release too. Unfortunately, I don't have, an exact time or version of the release. But the current plan is later this year for both those. Thank you, Dominica.
Yeah, thank you. Let's switch to another example, which is to show how the allow JavaScript property is working. Okay, we have two HTML components here, one above and one below. And in the first one, we have this switch enabled, so this is set to be true. And in the second one, this is set to be false. So now, if we have a look to our HTML code, we can see that there is a script part which is related to JavaScript code. And in this script, we can see that here the color of the text is changed to be blue, while in the second example, the color of the text is set to be false, set to be red, sorry, here. So we see that the text element style color is set to be red. So if we run the report, we see how only the first text was changed to be blue, while the second one was not changed to be red. That's because the flag is set to be false on JavaScript. So if we just change the flag here, we will see a difference. So very quickly. And we can see that the text also in this case is changed to be red. So the script was executed and the color of the text was changed. Okay, we have another, and this will be the latest sample um, that is related to the image DPI setting. We can see that we have the same image here. For the first one, the image DPI is set to be 300, while for the second one, the image DPI is set to be 10. So just as a specification, this setting is only taking into account when the report is exporting in a few formats like Word format and Excel. But if I preview here within Studio, I can already have a clear difference of what will happen when exporting to those formats. And in a moment,
While that's generating, I have a quick question, Domenico.
yeah,
We have number one, allowed HTML tags and custom police provider. I don't know if they meant policy provider. Which one
yeah.
would you take precedence if they are conflicting?
If we have so if we are using the custom policy provider, can you repeat the question, Paul? Sorry.
Yeah, so the allowed HTML tags and the custom policy provider, which one would take precedence if they're both conflicting?
Oh, I think the custom policy provider will take precedence over the text, the allowed text. This has to be double checked, but most probably this is to be considered first, because this is going to be run together with the report during the report execution, and while the settings is something that is probably checked only at the init time and not during the execution itself.
Okay, good to know. Again, this component is brand new to us too. Our experience with it is pretty limited, so hopefully that is the correct answer. His second part is, could they actually both be used at the same time? Or second question, excuse me.
Yeah, I guess they can be used at the same time, but I don't think that if you are already using the custom policy provider, you will be willing to use the allowed HTML tag setting, because again, the custom policy provider is to provide some more fine control over the input, to sanitize the input. So it's giving you more power to specify what are the elements that you want to allow. So let's say this is a more advanced instrument, while tags is something that is probably quicker, but it's not giving you that control.
That makes sense. Thank you, Domenico.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I have executed the report here, and you can see clearly how the two images are rendered very differently. So the DPI, the dots per inch settings is really respected and is taken in account. Okay, that was all for me, Paul. In terms of example, I stop sharing.
I do have another quick question here. Can you insert Jaspersoft data into LI elements?
Well, it depends, but we can play with parameters and forward the values if this is something. The question is related to inputting data on the reports and HTML. That's for sure.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and share my screen. As always, we'll have resources for you available. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have a whole lot of resources. There's no official documentation since this is an unreleased component. Again, this component will be released later this year, and it will be available then. It's currently not available. Our team does have certain has a few upcoming events for you. May 15th, from our marketing team, they have Supercharge your DevX with Jaspersoft. May 21st, which is a Wednesday, we monthly live Jaspersoft demos, and then June 26th, Thursday, it's the road ahead. What's next for Jaspersoft and Jakarta EE? So that's very important if you'd like to know more what's on coming and what's on our roadmap. I'm sure our HTML component will be included as well as other features and things that'll be released later this year. And so please let us know if you have any questions and concerns. Other than that, we thank you very much for joining our May session of Dr. Jaspersoft. We appreciate it. Feel free to engage with us, connect with us on the community, log a case, email me, whatever it takes. We appreciate your feedback and anything you have to tell us. Yes, we have another quick question. My recording, as always, after the session, we post on YouTube. Sometimes it takes us a day or two, but it'll be posted on the Dr. Jaspersoft page as well as our YouTube channel. So be on the lookout there, and it'll come, like I said, it'll come in about a day or two. Our slides will be on there as well as the recording. Thank you, everyone, again. Take care and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.